esteemed friends, fellow seekers, we were just speaking about evidence. And evidence exists at several levels, not just physical. So, the evidence that there was a time when the Vedic rishis moved around in this wonderful land is that they gave us some gift which continues to exist, which is the most important treasure, the lineage. And that gift that they gave to this wonderful land is the gift of fire. If you look at the Vedic sages, they invoked Agni, and that fire is still rages despite so many efforts, attempts to put it out, to cover it with dust and smoke, to make us believe this doesn't exist, yet the fire exists. This fire is not just the outer fire. Outer fire is only a visible manifestation. The outer world is a visible manifestation of something which is much more deeper and, though intangible to the outer senses, much more real and tangible if we look within. And this world is a manifestation of that. And it is that fire, the creative fire, the Agni that pushes us forward. And it's so interesting even today, even in English, in Hindi, and I'm sure in other languages. What do we say when we talk to a person that, do you still have the urge to progress? Go forward. We use the word, aag hai kya? In English we say, where is the fire? That's what youth is characterized by. The fire, the Agni, to move. Aage, go forward. And I used to wonder when I used to read about the rich tradition and we talk about it, we talk about, of course, Siddha medicine, which is so wonderful. I'm a doctor myself in allopathy, but I know its great beauty. So I used to wonder, how did they discover it? Because if we have that key, we'll continue advancing. We are not here just to prove that, look, whatever was discovered is ultimate, because they know, it's a constant movement. But where is that key that they had with which they could discover? And if we have that key, there will be no end to the discoveries. As the Vedas themselves say, what is Brahman? Brahman is that knowing which all else can be known. And the Vedas themselves speak of a tradition anterior to them. So when we talk about tradition, we should be careful. Tradition is often like a shade of a lamp, and shades will change. Some shades are transparent, some shades are, outer, more opaque. But most important is the light which is inside. Sometimes we get caught up by the external shade. But behind a very colorful external shade, there may be a 0-watt bulb burning. And behind even opaque shades, there may be a very, 1,000,000-watt bulb, if I may say so, burning. That's what is the Yagyavedi, which is still burning in the heart of this land. And this is going to spread far and wide. This is a sign of our times that this ancient knowledge has not been forgotten. This is very interesting because even the gods, even all these things, they continue to be remembered in this land. But the key is the Agni, which the Vedic rishis lit up first. And what is this Agni? The urge to progress, aspiration, will. The most important thing which, since VC sir was mentioning about the students, what is lacking? Will. Everything else is there, knowledge is there. They read all the books, but when it comes to will, it's a weak will, easily succumbs to every kind of temptation. Agni is will. Without will, we are just another animal. Driven, we'll use the knowledge only to feed our stomach. But if the will is strengthened, there should be ways, and that's not difficult, frankly, at every level in education, it can be introduced. How to strengthen the will. How to make this will move forward, that knowledge begins where books end. Veda begins truly when we have read or understood apparently, then it continues. That's why avijñātam vijanata, avijñātam avijanata. He who knows it not knows it. That there is an endless pursuit, relentless search. That's what the Vedas symbolize. That Agni, that should be lit. And when we read such books or the lives of likes of Agastya Rishi and Sri Aurobindo, we see that fire. What was moving them? When I read the Brihadaranak where it says Asadoma Sadgamya, we all remember it. I used to wonder who were these rishis. I'm so proud to belong to their lineage, who were moving around seeking light amidst darkness. Right now we become cynics. Oh, there is darkness all around. Of course there was darkness always in some way. But they were seeking light, Asadoma Sadgamya. They were seeking truth amidst falsehood. They were seeking immortality amidst death. That seeking we inherit. So inheritance of this lineage is not just some buildings, some books, some nice, wonderful stokas, but we inherit that fire. This is their gift to us. And the Vedic rishis themselves say, they say our forefathers. They don't name the forefathers. Perhaps nobody knows. Who were they? And perhaps they would also say the forefathers. That lineage we carry, and it's very important that we bring out this lamp of light which they have gifted to us. But Agastya Rishi goes further. Of course, we know some of the similarities between their outer life, Sri Aurobindo and Rishi Agastya. It's very interesting just to mention, they both crossed the Vindhyas. And as the story goes for Agastya Rishi, that, like many, he also wants to be around in the Himalayan Gangetic belt. All the yogis seem to gravitate. You see, from Himalaya right up to the Ganges, right up to the sea. And Lord Shiva tells him, no. They'll create an upsetting of the balance. Alone Agastya is enough to reset the balance. His presence is enough. Such is his personality. People, some of his stories are so beautiful. Lopamudra, how did she get a name? It seems when she saw Rishi Agastya, she forgot. It's a beautiful moment of love divine manifesting in it. They were not just, Dadiwala Baba. This says who were the rishis. They were passionate, they were creative. They carried the fire in their heart, in their speech. And when they uttered a mantra, it had the power to unlock doors of mysteries. Equally, when they cursed, it was difficult to get rid of that curse because their speech was laced with vibrations of truth. They practiced truth. That was the rishis. And so we see that Sri Aurobindo also, while most of the yogis at that time are around that, even now, Himalayas, Ganges, you see from Haridwar downwards, right up to Kolkata. But Sri Aurobindo comes all the way. Another parallel is that when Sri Aurobindo compares Sanskrit and Tamil, he sees many roots, similar roots, but he sees certain missing roots. And he traces it back to Latin, the missing roots. It's very amazing. His work on finding the common roots between Sanskrit and Tamil language are legion. They are there in Vedic and philologic studies of Sri Aurobindo. Many other parallels, but the most important parallel, as I said, what is the legacy? We have the work that Rishi Agastya was doing, and that's what we should continue. So in India, we have the system of Gotra. Gotra means what? Not just that I belong to Rishi Bharadwaj. That'll be silly. Bharadwaj didn't put Pandey or Chaube in front of his name. He is Bharadwaj. I belong to the Bharadwaj. But what is Bharadwaj? Bharadwaj is doing a certain research in a certain direction, seeking, finding. That finding has not ended. It doesn't end with one or two or many. It continues because the divine is infinite and that we must carry on. Then we are really true to the Gotra. So the reminder of the Gotra was simply this, that look here, he was doing something, and I was very happy when I came to know about my Gotra being Bharadwaj because he was doing research on aviation in both medicine as well as aircrafts. So having joined the Indian Air Force as a doctor, I said, okay, at least something of that lineage carrying on. So this is the research that Rishi Agastya was doing. He is documenting it in the Vedas. And what is the research? We know the way, I think it may have been covered or not, a colloquy between Indra and Agastya, someone probably have already covered. So I'll just speak about it very briefly. What is that research he is doing? He is documenting that as he is advancing on the path, he is meeting obstacle. And who is creating obstacle? Not some demons, not some hostile forces. Indra himself is not letting him go. So Rishi Agastya asks him, why are you not letting me go? I want the ultimate. He says, yes, I know. But you are jumping from the land of thought to the ultimate. You have to go through a place where these thoughts become silent and they change into vision, revelation. Because that's what Indra represents. And he is going with the help of Maruts. Brilliant thoughts, luminous thoughts. And these thoughts are carrying him to the land of the ultimate. And Indra says, no, you can't go like that. See, Indra's job description is that. That's why he doesn't let Hanuman go and straight away pluck the sun. He says, no child, not like this. Go back. You can't go just like that. You are a Pavanaputra. You have all the energy of the Maruts and the Vayu. But you are crossing. He ultimately receives that knowledge which he wanted to receive by eating the sun. But how does he receive? He becomes a disciple to sun. So he is also a disciple to sun, and so beautiful that he receives the knowledge. That's a very interesting story. So he was doing, what was Agastya Rishi trying? He was trying to leave. And Indra has to tell him, no, go back. So he says, what is the way? He says, you have to first please me. You just can't jump. I am there on the way between you and the ultimate. And when we look at that colloquy and we see Sri Aurobindo in evening talks, when someone asked him, how does one arrive at supermind? Give us some clue, something you clue. He says you have to go first. You have to reach first the overmind, which is the plane of the gods. You can't jump. And that's why the mother, before the supramental manifestation, she brings down the overmind world. So we in our haste, because what has happened subsequently in India, all this is meaningless, all this is waste, this material world is useless, everything is useless, then we should directly go that. This is not the way of the gods, this is not the way of the Vedas. The Vedic path is enlarging, widening, and letting the mind grow towards its own higher possibility. Sri Aurobindo used the word spiritual transformation before you can talk about the supramental transformation. We can't take a leap there. So the mind itself must enlarge in its scope. That's what Indra is. He is the global consciousness. He is Sahasraksh. So simultaneously he can see everywhere. He is the subtlest of mind. That's why he can chase the eternal, but meets at the door of Uma Hemvati, which is what we see in Kena Upanishad. So this mind has its own place, and we can't straight away by reading some books and by sort of having some scholarly debate, discussion, academics, we cannot lead straight away. This mind must be enlarged, upgraded, widened. And when I started understanding this, one of my first books that I came across was Secret of the Veda. It was like, means like, kya mil gaya? Adbhutam. That's how they describe, Agastya Rishi himself describes Adbhutam. So it was like Adbhut. So what do you discover there? You discover it so intensely, you can relate with it in so many ways. It's a pure psychological, that's why one of the reasons why I say people should read Sri Aurobindo even though he is difficult. Why? Because when we do it, what happens? Now these thoughts, Maruts are there and Indra is there. So your thought begins to strain and get uplifted. So automatically the yoga of Agastya Rishi is going on. If you read Sri Aurobindo, the mind is ascending. You just can't help it. So initially one will sleep. That's where Indra is saying, no, not ready. You continue. Then a time comes when thought begins to become silent. One of the simplest ways of quietening the mind is reading Sri Aurobindo. And when the mind becomes quiet, truth begins to manifest. Not by jumping. Not by staying where we are and we can just think about, no, we cannot think about Brahman and arrive at Brahman. Not even by keep on repeating, I am that. No, it doesn't work. If it was so simple, life would have been very happy. It doesn't work like that. Even thought will not allow. So we have to go through that. So this is one of the things which is very fascinating about Rishi Agastya and Sri Aurobindo. Not only says the same thing, he brings, of course he doesn't use the word gods because we don't need to do that. Because God of Vedas, Indra, changed when we come to Puranas. So it's the power that he represents. The Vedic god Indra is the main god standing at the doors of the unknowable, which is very different from the Puranic Indra. The second thing which is very interesting, so every time we try to ascend in yoga, we fall. Means something we have left. Something is not yet done. So the yoga is integral. You cannot just leave everything and go, which is so beautiful. Very different from how we today conceive of yoga. And always in every forum possible, I keep saying we should get rid of this idea of Mayavad. If we want India to become great, that's not what the Vedic rishis say. For them, Maya is the power, formative power of the Lord. It's not a deceiving power. Who would call somebody using a deceiving power as someone great? It gives form. When we speak, we are giving form to a truth. That form is the power of Maya. Without that, no form can exist. But the truth is there. They act together. They are not opposed to each other. That's precisely what Indra is telling him. That you are rushing. See what you have left behind. So he goes back, he aspires for widening, illumination, all that the rest of the yoga. Though it's just in first mandala, I think 10 odd mantras or maybe 9 odd mantras to both of them. The second thing which I find very interesting about Rishi Agastya and, again with the mother, those who keep on saying India was patriarchal, 30% of the Vedic richas are by the women. And Agastya and Lopamudra together have composed many of these richas. So we call it patriarchal. And similarly we see Mother and Sri Aurobindo together taking up the work. India is one of the most liberal countries that ever existed. Women had, just imagine, even 25% of Vedic richas, women had an equal status to realize Gargi, such names, and they could express, it was regarded as part of the highest knowledge, which is the Vedic lore. So where are those women? And I search for them, and we must awaken that part. And the third thing which is very interesting about Rishi Agastya and his venture, which Sri Aurobindo takes up and completes, I think passingly someone had mentioned very interestingly, is that what is Rishi Agastya doing? There is a hole between him and Lopamudra. How long we have to dig? They're digging for what? For sun. Lost sun in the caves. We have similar legends, Angiras and the caves. What is this sun they are looking for? And what is this cave? Where is sun in the cave? It's all, people will say mythology, sun is there. But the same sun of truth, there is a truth which is hidden in the cave of darkness, in matter. And he is saying that truth I can realize. But my problem is there is a truth hidden in this material world. I want that truth to emerge. As it emerges, it will modify matter, modify. All evolution is a progressive emergence of this truth. So he is trying and he says, how long? How long? They are digging deep and deep. Exactly the similar conversation takes place when mother comes here. They are both standing together. And the mother inwardly asked Sri Aurobindo, because she was seeing all the things in the supermind. And she asked Sri Aurobindo, will it happen this time? Mark the words, this time. Is it referring to Agastya and Lopamudra? We don't know. She doesn't say that. Will it happen this time? And all that Sri Aurobindo says is yes. And she sees the supermind come down at that very moment. And then she says, but man is not ready. And Sri Aurobindo says, if we wait for man to be ready, he will never be ready. We have to make it ready. Man ready. So we must know that there is a greater power which has taken charge of this world. Our work is to open to that power, rather than all our mental plans and schemes. The more we open, the more everything will come. So he is digging for that sun, and that sun, Sri Aurobindo speaks of the very same thing, Martand, the 8th son of Aditi, which is cast into the darkness. They knew that there is a truth here. That's why despite all the other worldliness, ultimately we say you cannot have even moksha unless you are in a human body. Gods can't have. They are stuck to their type. What is special about the human body? That's where Siddha medicine comes in. What is special about the human body? Its healing capacity. What is hidden inside it? That we see that the moment an infection takes place, all the white blood cells automatically work. Nobody gives them an order. Even before the mind becomes aware that there is a problem, the body has reacted because there is hidden in it a power. Sri Aurobindo even hints at it when he says in Savitri, almighty powers are shut in nature's cells. So my own intuition is that when Agastya Rishi gives this wonderful gift of Siddha medicine, He had discovered some means to awaken this power, this energy, this Agni, these Maruts, the luminous, brilliant forces that can flow into the body and reset the balance. And the material medium was a small part of it. That's important. Dravya Gun and whatever can activate it. So, this material knowledge is incomplete without the complementary side. That's why without the yoga, practicing this remains incomplete. One has to take to yoga. Whatever be the yoga that one takes, whatever be the journey. Because there is a yoga, there is a power, there is a truth which is hidden inside this earth. And same task with Sri Aurobindo taking up. So the project had started, God knows how many, Rishi Agastya is of course time of Ramayana, which even conservative dates would come to maybe about 1400 BC is the most conservative date. There are all kinds of dates. And now it arrives at completion. How it arrives at completion? It has taken so much time for humanity to become ready, for it to emerge. And now it is going to emerge and change the very body structure, function, everything it can change. Maybe we have to discover new ways. Siddha medicine itself can discover new ways. That this sun which Rishi Agastya is discovering and wanting to come up, that's what Aurobindo describes in God's labor, in Savitri. We don't have the time and the right now the occasion to talk about all that. We'll see it in Martanda temple. Martanda temple in Kashmir. So Martanda is that god which is hidden inside, sun. And that sun, they were actually doing yajna to invoke it. Before this whole thing in Kashmir was destroyed, I've actually gone to that site. It's filled with, these terrorists, and they tried to destroy. Why? Because they know the secret. Have you ever wondered, there are so many rich places, why everybody attacks India? Even till today, at psychological level, ideological level, physically, why India? Precisely because India is the soul of the world. You save India, India is saved, world is safe. If India is not safe, if Sanatana Dharma is not safe, look around and see all the ideologies and one will know that the world is unsafe. So that's what I saw in Kashmir, and even when I went there, some people came around with suspicion. They wanted to know who am I, and I was very clear that I shouldn't talk about my Air Force credentials because that is the time, and they deliberately tried. Actually, I have seen kill a cow and throw right in front as our car was passing by, just to, irritate you. But you may kill cows, you cannot kill light. Cow is light. That was my word to them. I didn't tell them, but you can slay, you can destroy the murti of the gods, but you cannot destroy the gods. You don't have the power. They exist, they have existed, they continue to exist, and they are helpers of mankind, and they continue to help. They are immortals. How can you destroy? You can destroy the outer form, they will come in another form. And when you destroy all forms, the gods will emerge in human forms. They will be human beings who will embody them. That's how Rishi Agastya is none else but Shiva, taking a human form. How can you destroy? So this is the great fallacy, and it's up to us now to embody. Once again, these gods are emerging, and they are emerging as brilliant thoughts, luminous thoughts. They are emerging as aspiration to progress in every field. These gods are emerging as a very wide, plastic mentality, and we must respect them and we must embody them, because this is the task given to man. This is the age when Nar and Narayana meet. They say that when will Satyug come? If you go to Badrinath, we'll see when the two mountains meet. And they say they are inching close, and these mountains are Nar and Narayana. The Satyug will come when Nar and Narayana become one. The human and the divine. When they become one, they will be Satyug. So let us all carry on this great tradition and lineage, not in terms of external. External is all right. It's good to keep in the memory of the race to inspire. But that real lineage, that fire that they have lit inside us, and not stop till, in the language of Rishi Agastya and Sri Aurobindo, earth and heaven become equal and one. We are not escapists to run away from here into elsewhere. But we are children of Bharat, we are children of Rishi Agastya and Lopamudra. We are children of all the great rishis who labored to make this world equal to higher than the heavenly worlds. They labored for it. And let us join that lineage, join hand, join our aspiration, and say that together may we utter the mantra, together may we think with the same thought, together may we live the same ideal, those rishis who lived thousands of years back, and together may we make this world a new, a beautiful, happy, divine place. Thank you so much, Chairman.